All right. In our last class, hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me just do a summary of what we did in our last class. Now, we look at the introduction to Python. We look at Python syntax, comments, variables, data types, numbers, and casting. That was where we actually stopped. So I explained that Python is a high-level programming language that is used in different application domain. It can be used for web development, for data analysis, machine learning. It can also be used to develop a standalone application and for writing scripts. So that is just basically that for the introduction to Python. Then we looked at syntax. I explained that syntax is just like the structure of any programming language, and each every programming language has a particular structure, a way it's been written. For instance, to write to a kind of print out hello world in Python is kind of like entirely different from the code to write hello world in C++. So each of these programming languages has their own syntax, and this syntax talks about the structure of the programming language, how the code is. So that is that for syntax. Then we looked at comments. Now comments are basically used for in-code documentation. For instance, if you want to explain what a line of code is doing or what is happening within a line of code, comment can be used for like to explain that for documentation. Then we looked at variables. Variables are just like containers that helps to store your values. And like I said in Python, that the smallest unit of any code is a value, and the value can either be like values are data types. Yeah, data types. So that is that for variables. Variables are something that holds a value. Then we looked at data types. Now, in Python, there are different data types. We have the number like numeric data type, which under numeric we have integers, we have floats, we have complex numbers. Then we have text data type, which is string itself. Then we have tuple, we have list, we have set, we have dictionary, we have frozen sets, and we have non-types. So this what I've just mentioned are the data type. Now what is data types? Just like the kind of data that Python handles or works with. Yeah, it can work with numbers, it can work with text and the rest of them. So we looked at casting. Okay, Python numbers. Numbers are just like under in Python we have just three. We have the integers, floats, and complex numbers. Then in casting, I said that in casting, what happens in casting is that you can kind of um, change an integer to a floating point number. I can change a floating point number to an integer. For instance, if you have one is an integer, is a whole number. Integers are whole numbers that doesn't have decimal points. It's an integer, so you can convert an integer to a float. I can convert a floating point number to an integer. But the rule is in Python you cannot convert a complex number to a float or an integer. We can convert an integer to a complex number. I can also convert a float to a complex number. But the rule in Python numbers is that you can't convert an integer um, um, complex numbers to integers or to floats. Now the difference between float and integer is this: floats are whole numbers that can either be positive or negative. They don't have decimal points, but floating point numbers, um, they are whole numbers, positive or negative, but they have decimal points. Decimal points. So that is basically. Then for the complex numbers, in complex number we have the imaginary parts and the real parts. Now let me just take I hope you're following. You're following, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm just going to do a kind of summary of what we did last. So I said in complex number we have the imaginary parts and the real parts. Now the imaginary part takes the j function, like the j text, while the real part is this 3 that you are seeing. So that is basically that for numbers. Remember I said in casting, what casting does is casting helps to convert integer to floats, can convert floats to integers, can convert integer to complex number, can convert floats to complex number. But the rule is you cannot convert a complex number to integer or float. That is just that for that. So now we'll move to strings. For today we'll just be touching strings and booleans. Like these are the two things we'll be looking at, strings and booleans. Remember I said something that Python has different, like works with different data types, and one of the data types it works with is a string. Now in English language we have different alphabets, A to Z. Now in Python works with alphabets also. So anytime you hear strings, just know they are working with alphabets. You're working with alphabets, and you can also convert a number to string too. So one of the things that denotes a string in Python is that it must have like the alphabets or number. Once you put them in a quotation mark, it becomes a string that Python can interpret. Then the interpreter interprets it as a string, even though it's a number. Once you enclose it with a string, Python now interprets it as a string. Let me give an example of what I'm just saying. I hope you are following and understanding me. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, we are following.
Alright. Alright. I said strings. Alright. Strings in Python are surrounded by either single quotation marks or double quotation mark. Take notes. It's either you make use of single quotation mark or a double quotation mark. So let's try something using let's make use of, so for instance, what's if I remove this quotation mark here? Python is not seeing it as a string again. Just watch. Let me remove this quotation mark. Let's see what will happen. I said name hello is not defined. Now once you remove this quotation mark, Python is now interpreting this as a variable, because you can only call a variable like this. Remember I said something that variable, for instance, just watch. Just watch. Now it is now prints welcome. So if you remove this quotation mark, Python has, if you add it, it now sees it as a string that you can now print. I hope that is, then you can now print hello. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So there are different operations. Like one thing about Python is this: aside from these strings, you can carry out different operations on the string, on a number, on an alphabet. So we're going to be looking at some operations here. And some of the operations we're looking at is slicing a string, modifying a string, concatenating of strings, and formatting of string, escape characters, string methods, and we'll look at some exercises. So first of all, let's look at slicing of strings. So for instance, you can, when you hear slicing, now what slicing does in Python is that you can return like a range of characters, by using um slice syntax.
Sir, can you adjust the lid, sir? Your voice went down small.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Now there's what we call slicing. And let's get something. What slicing does is that it helps to return a range of characters. Like for instance, this hello world. I want to return the characters that are in between 2 and 5. Let's take an exercise. Just have it in mind that what slicing does is to kind of cut out, like in normal sense. Maybe you want to slice yam, just have that picture in your head. You want to slice yam. You're trying to cut out some things. So that is what Python does here. It helps to this slicing operation, slicing of strings helps to cut out some words out of the strings. Let's take an example. Let's work with an example first. Then you see what I mean. Now, if you see 2 and 5, just watch. Let's print it and see. I'll see the output first. Hello. Now, there's what we call. Are you hearing me?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Now, there's what we call indexing. Index. Come on, let me explain it better so that. Now, if you take a look at this hello world, the indexing always starts with this. Let me do it for you. The indexing always starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is indexing. Now, this hello word H is 0, E is 1. I follow me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
L is 2. The other L is 3. The other O is 4. The other comma is 5. W 6. O 7. R 8. L 9. D 10. 11. Now, this is how it works. In this aspect, what these 2 and 5 is doing is this. Now, this 2 is the starting index, while 5 is the ending index. Now, Python is not going to it's not going to print. It's going to exclude this the first index and the second index, and also exclude the fifth index, and then print the numbers in between that index. Then, are you following me? Hello? Are these people there? Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, let me come again.
Yeah.
Let me come again. So I said this. If you say print B open bracket 2 colon 5, what you are telling Python to do is, let me come here and show you something. It said you get the characters from position 2 to position 5. Now, position 2 and 5 will not be included. Now, this is how the positioning is done. This H here now is known as 1. Like, I just use this as the indexing. But in counting it, H is 1, E is 2. Remember, position 2 will not be included. That means H and E will be excluded. Then position 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, what happens here is that the last position, which is 5. Now, let's remove 2. H, E is removed. Are you with me? Then it remain. You are now printing L, L, and 0. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Now
Yes, sir.
let me do another so that you understand what I mean. Now let's do 2 and 3. The end will be 3. I seen it now. 1.
Yes.
Now I remove. You remember the first index is 1, 2. It's going to print. It's going to print just that last 1, 3, like in that those ones in between, like that particular one. Now it's just this way. Now do 3 minus 2 is what?
1.
1. So you do H is removed, E is removed. Are you with me? So that
Then L is
that
remaining.
L
Yes.
is remaining is going to print it out. Now let's do 4. Just watch and see.
LOL.
LL. I seen it now.
Yes, sir.
It's going to cut out these two, H and E. Now let's do 3 and 4. Let's see what will happen. Just watch.
To be L.
L, right? See, remove H, remove E, remove L. It prints out that last one, which is what? L. Do you get it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do 6. 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come, it's going to print L, 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 O.
LO.
Let's see.
LO.
It will be L,
Okay, the
O,
comma
comma.
is
Now,
included.
watch. I'm removing 3, right? Watch. I'm removing. Now,
Mm.
remember, in the count, we start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That comma is part
Yes.
of the 6. Now, you remove the first one. H is removed, E is removed, L is removed. So which one is now remaining? L, O, comma. Do you understand that now?
Yes.
So now I want to slash. I want to get to word. So I want to remove. I want to remove I want to remove hello. I want to only print word. So I'll just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll say
6.
6. Then I'll look at, okay, where is word? 6,
Is
7,
8.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, let me say
12.
12. Let's see what will happen. I seen it now. I seen it.
Yes, sir.
Now if I
Yes,
want
sir.
if I now want to include that exclamation mark, then I can now do it what 13. You get that?
Yes, sir.
I'll get my exclamation mark. I hope it's now understood. Like slicing is used to like extract, remove um characters.
Yes.
Maybe you want to just work with a set of characters. You just want to extract them. So that is what
Mm.
slicing does. And the syntax is very simple. The syntax is very simple. Maybe you have B now. You have say print B open
I
bracket.
can
This
hear you.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Now I say this is syntax. Now after now this B now is serving as a variable holding this value hello world, which is a string. Now to maybe you want to slice, the syntax is print open brackets. You call that variable, you put that variable B, this bracket, this kind of braces.
Mm.
Now the first instance, like the particular position you want to remove, the starting position you want to remove, and the exact position you want to print out. Now these two represent the position you want to remove. Why this 6, this 5 represents the position you want to print out. So if I say 2, that means I want to remove position 1 and 2, which is H and E, will be out of the box. Are you getting me now? Will be out of
Yes,
the
sir.
box. So what will not be remaining is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. LLO. So is position, those values in between 2 and position 5 will be printed out. That's the rule. Like those values excluding 2, HE is out. Then 3, 4, 5 will be printed out. Do you get that now? Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So if you have any question, just tell me. If you don't understand this thing, just tell me. I will explain. Is it well understood?
Well understood, sir.
All right. Let me move to modifying of strings. Modifying of strings. Now there are different. Now in programming, we have what we call methods. Methods. Now, methods are like a particular set of things that can carry out an action. Like what they actually do in real time is to carry out an action. Now, for instance, if I have small letter words, I can convert that small letter to capital letter. Now I want to add action. Now what helps to carry out that action is the uppercase method. Now strings have different methods to remember. In modification, you are trying to a kind of will I say which word should I use now? I don't want to use modify. Give me one word for modify. Let me see if I can. Uh, I don't want to make it sound okay. For instance, if I want to maybe update something, better let me use that word. Now I want to maybe change small letter to capital letter in Python. All I have to do is to use the uppercase method. The uppercase method. Now, for instance, if I have John, remember this John is written in small letter, right? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Now, I
Yes, sir.
want okay. Sakule, are you with us, sir?
Yes, I am.
All right, sir. All right. Now, this is small letter. Let me put the comment. Now, I want to convert this small letter to capital letter. So all I have to do is to use the uppercase method. Now, one thing about method in Python is that it must have a close bracket and an open bracket and a close bracket. So you have upper, open brackets, close brackets. So I want to apply the uppercase method now. So all I have to do is to now you call this variable b dot upper open bracket close bracket then close bracket. Did you see the syntax now? Do you understand the syntax? Hello.
Yeah, I'm with you, sir.
Good. Now to apply any method on the string, remember you don't just apply it on the value. Remember that the value here is John, but
Mm.
what is holding the value is b, which is the variable. So if you make use of the variable, if you want to apply the uppercase method, all you have to do is you put the variable which is b dot the name of the method you want to use, upper open bracket must have open bracket close bracket. Now let's run it. Let's see what will happen. I seen it now. It didn't change the small letter to what capital letter. Do you get that now? Do you get that? Hello? Hello, are you with me? Is that what understood?
Yes, yes.
Alright. So now we can also apply, for instance, now if this thing is capital letter and I want to make it lower, like lowercase, I can just say lower. Hmm? Now once it is a method, it's going to the color is going to change. The color is going to change. So lower, let me run it. So I seen it now.
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
Good. So I think we've learned strings. Under strings, we've looked at two operations that can be carried out on a string, which is the slicing and the modifying of a string. So let's just so we've looked at the uppercase method. We look at the lowercase method. So now let's look at removing white space. Now in Python, there's what we call, like generally in programming in programming language, there's what we call white space. Now what are white space? Like normally they're just like say that there are spaces that can either be before or after a text. Now to remove white space, now let me use an example of what I just said now. I said white space are just like spaces that can either be before or after a text or a string. Now for instance, if I say print, now instead of, if I put one space here like this and start hello world here, just watch. Now these spaces you are seeing are called white space. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. So this, all these spaces you are seeing like this space, this space I just highlighted, they are called white space. White space. So now I want to remove that white space. How do I do that? There is a method for doing that, and that method is known as strip method. Strip. Now what strip
Your
method?
speaker, sir.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, now.
Good. So I said to remove white spaces, and remember what I said, that white spaces are spaces before or after your string or your text or whatsoever. Now to remove those white spaces, there is a method that must be used, and that method is known as strip method. Strip, strip. Now remember what I said, that in making use of a method, it must have open brackets and a closing bracket. That is what makes it a method. And while making use of that method, you must kind of call that the variable holding the value, which is, for instance, now in this a is, there's a reason why I'm explaining this again and again, so that we get to understand what a variable is and what a value is. Now this a is the variable, while this hello world is the value, which is string. Now if you take a look at this hello world now, you see that there are white spaces here. These spaces are just highlighted,
Yes.
and there are white spaces here. These spaces are just highlighted. Now I want to remove.
Yes.
Now I want to remove those white spaces. Now what am I going to do? Let's take a look at what will happen in this code. I make use of the strip method. The strip method. Strip method. Now watch. Let me run the code and let's see what will happen. I seen it. I seen that now.
Yes, sir.
Now it
Yes, sir.
now it removes this white space, this one here, and it removes this one here. It only remove the one that is before and after. Before and after, not in between. Do you get that now?
Yes, sir.
Good. Alright. So I think this one is clear now. Now so let's look at um I think I'm going to touch only this modification of string, because there are so many methods inside, so that will not stress our brain. So we'll look at, let me just do a summary now before I continue. So we've looked at modifying a string. We looked at the uppercase, which helps to convert your small letter to capital letter. Then we looked at lowercase, which helps to convert um, capital letter to lowercase or lower letter. Then we've seen removing of white space. That what white space is does, like removing of white space, is that it helps to kind of remove any white space from the beginning, that is at the beginning or that is at the end. So and the method used to remove the white space is known as strip. So what strip does is that it helps to remove the white space at the beginning here and the white space at the end here. I think that is well understood, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me continue to replacing string. Now for instance, if I have a, a string and I want to replace a particular string with another string. Mm? Okay, let me. Is simple English. Now, if I have J and I want to replace J with W, all I have to do is make use of the replace method. Now, watch. Now, this version of Ebenezer is wrong. Hope you know. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Now, good. Now, I want to
Yes, sir.
replace. Yes, I want to replace this Ebenezer to E. I want to change it to E.
Yeah.
Now, watch. I'll do print name dot. Remember, while making use of a method, you must put that dot there before you call the method. Replace. Now, what do I want to replace? I want to replace A, watch, with what? With E. Do you understand it now?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's run it and see what we have. Why is it passing an error? Okay. Do you know why there's an error here? Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you, sir.
Do you know why there's an error? Can you spot the error here?
Yeah, because you did not
You
close the brackets.
Yes,
uh
I didn't close the brackets. Wonderful. So let me run it. So can you see it now? It changed it to what? Ebenezer.
Ebenezer.
Yeah. So
Wow.
what replace does, it kind of helps to, like, I don't want to use replace, like change a particular text, like a particular string. That's just that single one. So you can say, okay, I want to change. Maybe this one also is wrong. I do AC. Watch. So I want to change. I want to change AC. Let's see if it's going to work to AB. Let's watch. I see it now.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. So that is basically what replace. Now in um I'm coming. Let me think. There's something. Okay. When we get there, I will explain better. So now we looked at replace. I think you now understand what replace does, right?
Yes.
I don't want to make use of the word replace. Just to replace, like you kind of change a string with another string. Yeah. So now let's move to split. Split. Now, um, now in, for instance, um, if I have some words and I want to categorize them into different, like, okay, this one be on your own, this one be on your own. What I'm going to make use of is maybe how to split the text, split the string into, will I say, yeah, into sub strings. Like, okay, for instance, now I have, there's a reason why I'm explaining this so that you understand better. So if I have I love you, now I want to split this I love you, so I can say split it to I sorry I split it to love. Are you getting me now? Are you getting the concept? Split it to you. Do you get it now? Hello, Are you with
I'm
me?
with you, sir.
Good. So now
Yes, sir.
this is actually what splitting does. Like it separates these strings into sub strings, and each of these strings will be having a quotation mark to signify that okay, they are now standing as a sub strings. They are no more together. But one interesting thing about splitting or splitting and modifying a string is that the splitted um, substrings will now be in form of a list. Now, if you see anything like this in Python, like this particular symbol, like that open bracket, is a list. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, is a list. If you see something like this particular bracket, this is a dictionary. We'll still come to that aspect, but just know that this something like this in Python is a list. So if you're making use of the split for a method in Python, the result will be outputted as a list. As a list. Now it's going to a kind of list. Should I use list? Like kind of print out the substrings in like the substrings will be inside a list. Now let's do something. Let's have now for you to do that, it's just very simple. All you have to do is you come here, you say print. First of all, you call the variable name. Are you with me? You say variable dot split open bracket close bracket. Next to do the splitting is I must put a comma to separate the strings. Are you with me? Then I close it. Do you understand the syntax? Hello? Hello? Hello, are you with me? Do you understand the syntax?
Hello. Yeah.
Alright. Brayben, do you
But
understand the syntax?
can variable be a correct variable name?
You said?
You just go ahead. I'm thinking.
Yes, very well. You can put it as a very. Now, one thing is this: there are conventions like variable naming conventions. You can't use keyword. Variable is not a keyword. So had it been is a keyword, it's going to the color is going to change. That is why
Okay.
the color didn't change. Yes. So let's run it and see.
Okay. It is var as a keyword. I guess.
Yes. I'm coming. It's supposed to print it, not like this. I'm coming. Let me check something. This is all I need. This is all I need. What did I use the last time? I'm coming. Okay. Yeah, I'm coming. There's nothing else to do. Let me check. Yeah. Do you get that now? Hello? Hello? Can you see what just
It's supposed
happened?
to be commas.
Can you see what just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to put comma here in I and then low so that each of the strings will be splitted to be separate. So that is basically how splitting of strings works. So there are different um, different strings methods you can you can kind of work with. There are different methods. Remember I said something that methods methods are just like, let's say, functions. Yes, there are functions that carry out a specific task. Just like the split method is a function. Now what it does is that it helps to kind of split your string into substrings. Period. Then if you take a look at the replace string, replace method helps to replace your string, one string, with another string. That's what replace method does. Then if you take a look at the remove white space. Now what is the method used to remove white space, both at the beginning and at the end, is the strip method. Then for the lowercase, the lower open bracket close bracket method, the uppercase, the upper method. So I think that is basically um the the methods, like the basic methods that we just need to know. So I'll be ending the class here for tonight. I hope we've learned something, right?
Yes.
All right. So by on Monday we'll be looking at concatenation of strings, formatting of string, escape characters, string methods, and other string methods. So it would be nice if you can just go through this concatenation of strings and these four. Just go through them. Then that day on Monday when we will come to the class, if you have any question, you can just reach out to me. Then I will explain them better in the way that it's going to sink. It's going to sink. All right. Thank you for your time. God bless you.
Man, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.